Now, LD Monster can go into that aggressive side. I mean, we've seen it from him before as well. So we'll see what happens here as these two get in the match. I think this pre-ban is definitely going to say a lot how this thing's going to get kicked off.
Yeah, we're going to get a look inside of their heads, see how they're feeling. Guys, this is round one of the finals. LND Monster versus FH, the last set of the night. Again, this is a best of 5, so someone's going to have to get 3 wins against the other.
Yep, there is the Gurkha getting pre-banned alongside of the Oliver. Oliver's just been a unit that's been on the pre-ban list for everybody.
Oh yeah, and interesting. Slapping down the Shizuka immediately from FH. And putting a bomb into play after Shizuka is a bold choice. We're going to have to see what the plan is here from L&D Monster.
Well, it's a unit that both these players do share. I mean, there's that Veronica coming back from FH. I think this is going to be the pre-ban for the next match as well. We're going to see it going back and forth between Gurkha and that Veronica. We'll see what happens here, but Gianna's a unit that they do share. Ooh, he is going to be locking in that Nana along with that Yanhong as well for LD Monster.
Oh, heavens to Betsy. This is going to be interesting. I'm kind of smelling a Veronica ban so far, just because, I mean, there's a lot of valuable skills on L&D Monster's side between the Chung Peng and the Yanhong. Those are 2 units you want to have their skills up, even more so than others, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we could be seeing a Shizuka and a Gianna ban here. And I think FN is looking into that. That's why I was going to be bringing that more. He takes the more back for a Douglas. Interesting.
For a Douglas. What an interesting pivot. There's a lot to say here. I mean, I'm trying to look at this, and I actually think that the Douglas could potentially function here. We just need to know about that Yanhong, though. Being element neutral, having high crit rate, it might actually be able to get around it. We got a bomb from Gianna. What do you think about that pick there, Stein?
I mean, if you locking in that Douglas does say he's going to be letting all those AoE units through, bans are going to be that Yanhong for sure going to get the ban out here. But let's see what LD does, because, I mean, LD may not think the Douglas is going to be that threatening. Bans out the Veronica here, and we're going to have 2 LDs getting banned out. We'll see as we got to 0 here what both these players chose to ban out.
There are some interesting choices being presented here. There's some solid ban options from either side. The Nana actually might be a solid choice because of the Narsha and the Masha.
Yeah, that really is interesting. I mean, bans out the Nana because he knew he could pummel in the damage there. I think it is the right decision. We'll see if FH can burn through LD Monster, but we've got Yanhong kicking things off for us.
Yeah, FH has decided to play a very aggressive game. This is going to end pretty quickly one way or the other. Already we get a proc from Douglas, so we are seeing the serious matter comes out. Douglas is just getting fed over here, putting damage in. Doesn't seem like a whole lot now, but we know that Douglas builds up over time.
Yeah, most definitely. So there's that Holy Ground coming out. Want to protect his units there. So Masha's going to have a wash of a turn here. Keep in mind that Gianna did not use second skill to place a bomb down onto the field because he is worried about that Shizuka getting those bombs available.
Yeah, and it's pretty clutch having that Narsha under the stun right now, because notably there are no more strips available now that she's dismounted, aside from Shizuka's first skill.
Yeah, man, look at LD Monster. That is great. The Despair Stun going out of the Shizuka. I think Shizuka is going to be the saving grace unit here for FH, but the bomb sitting on him with the stun as well. Defense break. I think FH is going to be wrapped up here with that Shizuka and being under control.
You don't believe in the Douglas, Stoic? We got to get, dude, the Douglas. We're going to see the Douglas absolutely go off.
Yeah, we'll see if that Douglas is able to go off. I mean, I think the Holy Ground is what's going to keep LD Monster alive and away from Douglas doing terrible things to him.
You're so right, man. Oh, nice. Good job, Masha. Nicely done. But that Holy Ground is definitely going to be a thorn in FH's side for the rest of this round. He can only do so much. He's trying to work within the window of that skill cooldown. As soon as it goes up again, he's just going to get his Douglas kind of whittled down a little bit.
Yep, that's right. I mean, here comes the Holy Ground. There's nothing that FH can do about that. That's going to be 2 turns. It's building immunity to keep this team safe here. The unit of focus is still going to be that Yanhong. That Yanhong is able to get this charge vitality up again, and at the same time being just so safe hidden behind that invincibility.
Yes, and again, I was partially joking about the Douglas absolutely going off, but there is a chance here. We've seen every monster in play glance against him so far, so there is actually a chance that he could take this game still.
It's a pretty good initial damage coming out of the Chung Pung. He's able to save himself there with having the invincibility up, putting down that AoE to get the attack bar pushback here. Charge Vitality is going to come up, and then that Yanhong's going to look healthy again. Choosing not to use that Charge Vitality yet.
I almost feel like he should have done it on himself there, or rather on the Yanhong, so that way it could get the Blade Fan back a little earlier, because the Blade Fan is the only hope that he's got.
Wow. I don't think he saw that one coming, that he was going to be able to stay alive with 1% HP. There it is, shield and immunity coming up here. And there's that big second skill to finish off that Douglas. LD Monster with a monster's victory over FH there, man. Yanhong pumping in the power with that big second skill.
Yeah, that was awesome. I actually do like the Douglas draft there, if I'm being honest. I like the hope. And it was great. We saw everybody glance against it, but really, it just elevated what we were already talking about with Yanhong. She just brings everything, dude. She's got the crit rate built into her. Like, that's crazy. It's great.
I originally liked the Moore. When he was showing that Water Ryu Moore the first time, I thought that was going to be the pick there, because I think he would have really appreciated to have that strip attack or pushback, possible Despair Stuns built on Despair, to have those opportunities open. He had a Masha coming in there doing absolutely nothing, and one other unit that just slipped my mind right now that couldn't do anything because all the immunity and invincibility was up on LD Monster's side of the field. So maybe that was a misplay, taking that unit back and busting out the Douglas, because the Douglas wasn't able to get anything rolling for him.
Or maybe even a Pontos ban over the Nana would have been better there, because it's like you can kill those monsters multiple times, but if you just can't get damage in, and your damage is your health with Douglas, right? You can't get anything happen. So hindsight's 20/20, but I personally feel like maybe the Nana would have been better in the game than in the ban.
Of course. There's that Yanhong getting the ban here, and of course Veronica. And I think it's going to be a Veronica Gurkha going back and forth here. But let's see what happens. LD Monster with the first pick in this second round.
Yeah, let's see. Here comes Oliver, and so that means we're probably going to see the Shizuka as it was, exactly. Showing the priorities. Interesting seeing what these players consider the priority monsters over each other.
Yeah, most definitely. I really hope we don't see a Gurkha here in this second round of draft. I think Gurkha really does belong on that third side, that third draft for either player there. Gurkha should be in a position where you know for a fact they're banning it out and you're guaranteed your 4 units through, or they are not going to be able to handle the Gurkha that well and have to let it through because of something more oppressive that needs to get banned out.
Oh, the Moore and the Chung Pung. Again, another blast from the past here. This is almost looking like season 19, maybe? Season 19, season 20. Not super late, but, you know, a few seasons back. Tableau, Volantis Stoic.
Yeah, Volantis, a unit we haven't seen tonight yet, and that's FH drafting the Volantis. And I do like the Volantis. I think that's going to be a lot of control here. Expecting to... Oh, I'm sorry, there's a Shizuka right now. As I say, expecting to see a Shizuka coming up, but the Shizuka has already been locked in by FH.
Technically a good call. Technically a good... If it's already here... you know, great call, dude. Belongs in the game for sure. Let's see how L&D Monster decides to wrap up the draft. We know that they've got a lot in their toolkit, and they end up going with the Triton and the Cigar.
That's a ton of resets, and I think what we're seeing here is a potential Volantis ban here, because I think Volantis is really going to do a lot of bad things to LD Monster's draft. And again, we're going to be seeing the Douglas coming out of FH. I mean, hey, the Douglas looks really good right now. I'm going to give it to him. I think the Douglas is great.
It looks a lot better here. And you know what? L&D Monster seems to have agreed, and they banned it out. Yeah, it's looking a lot better here than in the last game.
Well, 33 speed lead coming out for LD Monster, looking to get turn 1 here, and also a second round victory against FH. Let's see if that's what's going to be happening here. Moore kicking things off with the full team strip there, but gets stunned up by the...
Volantis making things happen immediately right now. Just doesn't even waste any time whatsoever and already starts counterattacking. You hate to see that cooldown time increase on Shizuka there, but you know what? She's just going to be a couple turns behind.
Yep, that's right. He's going to go ahead and use his third skill with the Tableau. Able to push himself forward here. Bomb's coming out. Bomb does not come out on top of the Oliver. Not at all what FH needed to see right there. But the additional turn's happening here, so he is going to have Bomb up next turn.
That was actually a really nice proc considering they missed. It was very helpful for her there to get her skill back online so she can actually drop a bomb again or try to. Oh, Cigar can actually change the course of this match. Decides to keep Shizuka on cooldown because she definitely is the most impactful monster. Look at all the debuffs she has access to already, Stoic, so early in the game.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things coming to the table when that Shizuka is able to pop off here. But Volantis is being very, very clutch right now with these first skill stuns actually coming through for all 3 turns that Volantis is able to take here.
That's a really good point. He has landed 100% of the stuns he's thrown out. Volantis has done a great job. Probably most impactful unit on FH's team so far. Notably, L&D Monsters way ahead on HP and now on Monsters. I think he is definitely geared up to take this game.
Yeah, definitely. He had to go with that 3rd skill, even though he's going to kill himself with that bomb here. But that's going to be it for the... Oh, choosing not to go for the Volantis just yet. Taking out the Gianna. I was actually expecting to see the Volantis be the first unit to come out here, but it looks like it went for the Gianna instead. Nice little stun coming up from Tablo, but I think this is definitely going to be it here. LD Monster with a commanding victory in the 2nd round against FH.
We've got 2 lead. This is going to be putting L&D Monster at game point, chat. So 1 more game is all they need in order to lock down their name in the Hall of Fame right next to Season 22. Let's see what FH can do. I feel like FH is like, it's like right there. These are good games, Stoic. I feel like they're kind of right there with their draft. More so on that previous one than on this one. I think that the Douglas was better suited for this draft, and suitably so it soaked up the pre-ban. But I don't think it was necessarily wrong in the first round. It was pretty cool to see.
No.
What do you think so far?
The Douglas was totally fine. It was in a position where it was definitely going to get banned out here. But I think what we need to see is a little bit more aggression coming out of FH. FH was showing that he had the Narsha. You know, he can fight for turn 1. He could be very, very aggressive. I think that's what needs to happen here. We need to start seeing that like Dominic turn 1 play where Dominic comes in and just starts eliminating units as quick as possible. And Narsha's able to do that as well. So I think that's what FH needs to look at right now. FH needs to get the edge on top of LD Monster, take turn 1, and really get in front of him here.
You're right. We need a return of the Dominic Narsha. If we're seeing anything, it's that FH maybe tends to struggle in round 2, like once they kind of lose access to those monsters that just made a statement in the first one. So let's see what happens. We got the pre-ban back on Gurkha. We got no Oliver this game. That's good for both players, actually. I think that Oliver's out of this one. It seemed to kind of confuse them a bit here.
Yeah, we knew the Gurkha was going to get banned, and we knew that Veronica was going to get banned. Both those units going back and forth here. And Oliver, of course, Oliver's going to get banned out here. Shizuka, what a priority unit. Just about everybody tonight was locking in that Shizuka as soon as possible. I mean, just the unit that you have to worry about so much. You know, everything that happens to the field is something that's going to be under Shizuka's control here. So definitely a priority unit that people are locking in. And that's going to be quickly followed up by that Gianna and Changpeng. Oh, very quick to be drafted with FH, locking in the Moore and the Masha. Let's see if he locks those in.
He's thinking about it. I'd kind of prefer the Narsha if I'm picking at the draft. I'd prefer the Narsha in this case, only because it doesn't refuel the immunity for Gianna to stun it later. But I like the Veronica. The Veronica's cool too. I would almost prefer the Dominic in this case.
I think Veronica is an excellent pick here. I do like the Masha. I think Masha's totally fine here, but we do need to see more aggressive picks coming out of FH. I mean, if we end up seeing the Narsha, Dominic, anything that's going to bring a lot of damage here, he has to make sure that he's able to get that turn. I think that's what the Veronica is going to be here for.
Yeah, the Veronica's perfect. I love seeing Veronica in a draft. I just miss that blind aggression that he brought. Oh, and it looks like he might give it to me. Let's see. Let's see what he's got. He's got the Dominic. Bring one more. And of course, over on L&D Monsters side, we've seen this draft before tonight with the Yan Hong and the Nana, and we know how powerful it is. No way. Stoic, is that a Verd?
That is a Verd. I can't tell if that's going to be a Swift Verd or if that's going to be a Triple Revenge Verd, because we do have that Changpeng on the field. Whoa, taking a direction I was actually not expecting him to take here with a Molly and Verd heal. He's running out of time, so he's got to lock that in here. FH, I am not the biggest fan, but I mean, we all know what can happen with Molly and Vertiheal. I mean, things could really go in FH's direction here, but it'll depend on what are we looking at with this Vertiheal here. Are we expecting to see a Swift one? Are we expecting to see a Triple Revenge?
I believe, if I had to make a guess, based on the position that it was picked and also the fact that it's next to a Molly, I'd probably say it's a Triple Revenge Verd. Just because it wasn't picked so early. And the Molly is going to give it a little bit of survivability. which is cool. If we get a Veronica ban here, we actually have a pretty solid team from FH.
Yeah, I think the Veronica is going to get the ban here. That can't be a unit that he's going to let through. Bans out the Vertiheel. Wow. Vertiheel's going to get the ban, and the Yan Hong, of course, going to get banned on side of LD Monster.
Wait a minute, Stoic. Yeah, this could be it. FH actually might be able to get a point on the board here before it's too late. If that Veronica takes turn 1, let's see how fast this thing is.
Yep, no speed lead for either team, but an HP lead and attack lead coming out here in this game. Number 3, LD Monster couldn't shut it down, but FH has a great opportunity here. The reset coming through with Sekhmet.
Just raw stats. Like you said, no speed leads, no nothing. This is just what they have to offer in terms of rune quality, and it looks like the Sekhmet comes out ahead. And in a severe twist of irony, Veronica is the one that ends up reset. Wow.
That's crazy here. Beautiful stun coming out with Gianna on top of Shizuka as well. Ooh, there's that Serious Matter coming down, getting beautiful resets. Looking for some despair stuns, possible defense breaks, only landing on top of the Molly, of course, here.
And there's a defense break, yeah, on the Molly, like you said. She's still got it on. LND Monster is actually set up to do some pretty crazy stuff here. Big miss on the Shizuka there. But he's going to cycle back to get that bomb in time before Shizuka even has the third skill back anyway.
Cool, Shizuka's looking for an initial turn, not receiving it here, though. Some really good value is on the field still for FH. It's not over for him at all. There's an orb still up for LD Monster, though, and it looks like he's really trying to take out one of those orbs here in the form of Gianna. Gianna is going to drop here. Sekhmet, a little bit of poke damage coming out of the Veronica. He needs to confirm this kill, or else, I mean, he's going to be missing a unit.
This is the moment where the game could shift in FH's favor right now, is if he can just capitalize on this before the Veronica goes down and gives Nana another soul shard, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing, Stoic.
That's exactly what's happening right here. Beautiful second skill going to the Veronica to lower those cooldowns there. And we've got Masha pumping in the damage, looking so good for FH. Finally able to clap back with definitely a more aggressive draft for sure.
Oh, wow, the steal from Sekhmet coming in clutch right now. She's looking like she's going to be the one to respawn instead of Veronica, but that is too strong of an aggression from that comp from FH. Crazy. That was a great game. That was a great game, Stoic.
Yep, well done from FH. Honestly, it's exactly what we were calling out here, that we needed to see more aggression coming out of FH, and that's exactly what he brought to the field. He's brought more aggression. We saw Masha really pumping in the damage here. Molly was able to keep his team alive there, and that was something that I think LD Monster had to worry about for sure, and that Vertiheel ended up being, I guess, the perfect pick here. Could have been Triple Revenge, could have been Violent, could have been Swift. Doesn't really matter. It got banned out here, but it was an excellent draft, allowing those 4 units to go through, where Veronica really got to shine here, and the Shizuka, of course.
Oh, yeah. The Shizuka was just the turning point of the game, huh? She was kept down. Her cooldown time was increased the whole time. As soon as she got that third skill off, it showed you just why that unit is consistently being first picked when it's available by FH. So here we go. Guys, again, round point for LND Monster. FH did the seemingly impossible, got a point on the board, and here are our pre-bans. Nothing that we didn't expect, huh, Stoic?
No, not at all. We knew the Veronica or the Gurkha back and forth with these 2 units getting banned out. So Veronica, Yan Hong, no surprise getting banned out in this round 4.
Yeah, now we get to the meat of it. The Oliver's coming back, and so we've seen FH struggle up against the Oliver in the past. So we'll see what he's got in the tank to see if he can deal with the Oliver, or maybe he might just want to ban him.
Yep, we'll see what happens here. I mean, Oliver's definitely a threatening unit that you'd have to worry about a whole lot. Now, we've seen LD Monster take this Oliver, a bunch of wind units, and just try to go like full control here. So it could happen, but I really do like the Shizuka and the Gianna. I think that's a great way for FH to start his draft off right now.
FH going in a good direction, and it looks like we're getting a twist on an old classic from LND Monster. So we got the Chung Pung, and instead of the Triton or the other monsters that he's bringing in that slot, we're seeing Chiwu, who hasn't made an appearance all night.
Yeah, LD Monster is bringing the Chiwu here because he wants to lock in that 24 speed lead so that he has an extra speed lead, expecting his Oliver to get the ban out here. So probably no Water Ryu coming out, but now I'm expecting to see the Water Ryu, giving him 3 speed leads with these 2 fire units coming out for FH.
This is actually a great response here. The Masha and the Vertiheel up against these monsters is brilliant, because I mean, if Oliver resets you, or if you get reset by the Chung Pung or what have you, the Vert will be able to make up some of that lost cooldown by cycling through turns. And Gurkha doesn't necessarily outright deny the Vert that pleasure, but we'll see.
Yeah, LD Monster needs to look at this draft right now and say, is Gurkha's not going through? What are his 4 units to happen here? He's going to be locking in the Okeanos so that he gets these stuns and resets here. I do now like the Juno draft coming out of FH. I think that's a fine pick here. And that Juno does... Never mind.
The pivot to the Douglas was actually so good, though. Actually, so this is what I was just about to say, is he has found himself in a position where you could feasibly not ban the Oliver. None of these units are now going to be able to potentially deal with that cooldown increase because of the Verd. We're going to have to see what happens. That's the theory. Let's see how it plays out in practice.
You know, it could have been the Juno, it could have been the Douglas, it didn't matter. Whatever that last pick, it was going to get banned out here. Let's go. Okeanos not getting the reset here on top of that Shizuka, and that's going to be really important, but Oliver might be the guy to get the resets here. That's where you should be throwing that third skill, and that's exactly where it's going here. Second skill is going to pummel in to the Gianna potentially. No, it looks like he's going to change focus, and he's going to try and get that dismount on the Masha as soon as possible.
L&D Monster is playing so carefully around that Vertihal right now, and there's the counter when he's stunned. Too little too late from that Vert on FH's side. L&D Monster has just been playing around it so carefully, Stoic.
Well, that was a Despair Chung Pung, able to land the Despair stun on top of that Masha as well. We get an additional turn coming out of the Gianna, bombs coming out on top of the Oliver, but I'm expecting to see this Gianna go down here. You can go with the AoE push back here, but as long as the Vertiheal is not going to be revenging, it doesn't really matter. You just use the first skill to take the Gianna out in the first place.
Yeah, he's really just being so careful, L&D Monster, taking no risks. And FH is trying to see what he could do to maybe take this game back in his favor, but it requires Shizuka recovering her cooldowns, taking a turn, Masha going, Bird cycling. It is a tall order right now, Stoic.
Definitely a tall order for FH here. He needs this Bird to pop off as well as this Masha. Masha lands that defense break and does that exactly. He needs to remove these units from the field as quick as possible because he's running out of time.
Masha is trying her best to win this game for FH right now. Let's see if Bird can cycle enough attack power to get it back. Masha obviously benefiting more than the average bear right now. Masha and Bird taking this game back.
Yeah, Masha alone just shutting things down here. Defense breaks are popping out. Masha with the additional turns. You know, those additional turns are massive right now for FH. It's exactly what he's looking for. Able to bring back his Gianna to put bombs onto the field. And I believe that third skill is going to be up here for the Shizuka.
See, so this was the theory. The theory is you cycle enough turns with Bird and hope for a proc at some point. As long as you just keep feeding attack power to the Masha, and eventually those violent runes will kick in and open. I think that was actually a really good game plan, to be honest. Like, just cycle through the turns with Bird and see what happens. I liked it. That was the theory. That was the theory in the pick ban phase.
It was a much better play, again, for FH. Like I said, it's that aggression. We get to see a lot of damage. I mean, I'm going to give a lot of credit to those Masha Violent procs. Able to get the defense break, to get those additional turns, but that's why everybody's playing Masha so much right now.
Yeah.
She's able to protect herself with the immunity. She's able to defense break, Violent proc, and you're probably going to be eliminating units after that, and that's exactly what Masha did in this match here.
Yeah, the violent proc was huge, but I gotta give it to him because the thing was he was banking on that from the pick ban phase. Because the Vertihal is going to facilitate that by feeding all that attack bar in. It's like, okay, Masha turn, doesn't proc. I gotta feed it some more. Let's keep going. Let's see when we can get that damage in. It's a good game plan having the Verd there to counteract some of those increased cooldown times that were presented by L&D Monster. So a nice, like you said, very aggressive draft. Kind of a return to form for FH.
Yep, I would say. Now, I do like the control teams coming out of LD Monster. I think that's a route that we should be going in. Can't remember if the Pontos got banned out here, but I really like that Pontos Yanhong. I know the Yanhong got the pre-ban here, but I think the Yanhong Pontos is a really good combination for LD Monster. I'm expecting to see that going into this final match, because this is game number 5, guys, and we have a Yanhong and Veronica available to both players. That's that bread and butter, guys, that we've seen from both these players.
Here we go, everyone. This is it. Both players at match point. We had a 2-0 in the semifinals on both sides of the bracket, and now we are getting the maximum number of games possible from these finals. It's a great best case scenario match for us as viewers. This is going to be a really interesting one. FH has got to pull out all the stops again, bring in the aggression, while L&D Monster really needs to fine-tune that strategy, see if they can control them and keep those cooldown times increased. We see Shizuka get locked down right away, Star.
Exactly. That was very well put here with these two players here. That's exactly what we should be seeing from both of them. We'll see what happens if LD Monster can fine-tune this control here. And Gianna's going to be one of the units alongside the Chung Pang.
This is the formula, right? This is what both players have kind of been basing their teams around the whole tournament. Got the Gianna and the Chung Peng early from L&D Monster to establish the early control. We got FH with the Veronica to start that chain of aggression. Let's see what happens.
Let's see if that is going to be enough here. I do love that Masha. I think that Masha's been fantastic right now in the hands of FH. Now, does LD Monster change up from this control? Is he going to bring something else here? Is it going to be a Nana once again next to this Yanhong? And it is a Ponto, so I do like this. I like that we're going to be seeing the Yanhong and the Pontos coming out of LD Monster. I think that is the way. Fantastic pivot pick for this last pick coming out of LD Monster here, and I think that's where he needs to be.
So with the Pontos in play, Stoic, do you think that that's signaling a Veronica ban? Is that what we're probably seeing here?
I think so. I think Veronica's just way too strong right now, and that's not something that he wants to see. It's something that he was pre-banning this entire time, so I think he's banning it still. I don't think LD Monster's super worried about a Molly and a Juno, but I think the problem here is that whatever LD Monster does fifth pick here, that I think FH is going to be banning out this unit, because this unit I think is going to be an answer to the Juno and the Molly.
Right. I could also, depending on the impact here, oh, Praha. I know some folks in chat are probably going to be happy about that Praha. Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
I think the Praha is an excellent unit coming out of LD Monster here, because I don't think the Praha says like, oh man, gotta ban that through. So he's going to get potentially his Praha through, and then whatever, it might be the Yanhong getting banned out here.
Or it could also, I could also see the Pontos getting a ban too, because I mean the only strip, assuming the Veronica gets banned, is the Juno. Oh my gosh, Veronica made it through, but I don't think she takes turn one, does she, Stoic? We haven't seen these monsters.
Not without that speed lead. We should be definitely expecting the speed lead on the Gianna taking turn one for LD Monster. Let's see what happens, because I mean we've seen Gianna totally screw up on the first turn, but we'll see.
It was actually pretty close. Look at that attack bar on Veronica. It is just touching the end there. She could have taken it in another life. That's pretty crazy. So close there. Nice counterattack.
Oh, Despair Stun going out onto the Gianna on that counterattack. Really impressive there. We got a big strip coming out from the Juno. Here comes the resets on top of everybody.
Whoa. Wait a minute. So she's still got the third skill off before the Pontos could go, and all of a sudden L&D Monster is going to have to wait and recover those cooldown times. While Veronica very well could be on her way out. That might be her only contribution to the game, so FH better make good use of that.
And he really needs to make some really good use of that. There's the additional turn. Oh, there's a really important sleeper. I think he has to use this to gain control back onto the field, because right now Shizuka's got skills available and a not stunned up Veronica.
The fact that Veronica is still standing after that bomb, either stunned or not dead, is actually huge right now for FH, because we've already seen her skill 2 be very impactful. Let's see it happen.
I mean, I think FH has this down pat. That Veronica is going to pump in a ton of damage, and I think that's going to be it. He already used his heal on top of the Praha. All of a sudden, FH looking so comfortable with the anti-sweep. He was able to come back after those 2 losses there, and there you have it. FH is going to be our legendary tournament winner.
FH, the new legend for RTA Season 22, coming back, like you said, Stoic, after 2 losses, found their footing and went 3 games in a row against the champ, L&D Monster. That is crazy. What a story from FH.